Hello and welcome to The Bottom Line on TVP World. This is where we unpack some of the main business and economic stories of the day. I'm your host, Marie Kato. Poland's gone on a shopping spree in Paris and it purchased some big toys. 40 A220 Airbuses in the 100 and 300 models. And we'll only get to see these planes join Polish Airlines in 2027. This is a significant development for Poland's aviation industry, but not only. Jan Kennedy tells us more in his feature report.
This year's Paris Air Show kicked off with a stunning display of the latest military aircraft. It was also a major event for Poland's commercial aviation, as the national carrier lot signed a landmark deal with French aerospace giant Airbus. Polish Minister of Infrastructure Dariusz Klimczak was there to welcome the deal.
The largest contract in the history of Poland's national airline, LOT, has become a reality. We've signed a deal to purchase a total of 84 exceptional aircraft. This marks a brand new chapter in the history of Polish civil aviation.
While the value of the agreement remains undisclosed, it includes the delivery of 40 Airbus A220 aircraft in two models, the smaller A220-100 and the larger A220-300, scheduled for delivery between 2027 and 2031. The agreement also contains an option for expanding the order by an additional 44 planes.
Firstly, it serves the growth, and our plan is to grow, to increase the number of aircrafts, to increase the number of destinations, and to serve more passengers.
The Polish Airlines' new Airbus aircraft will gradually replace its Embraer fleet after the Brazilian company was snubbed in the tender. Experts say that technically it's the right move.
LOT aims to join the ranks of the world's leading airlines, not just in terms of fleet size, at least when compared to some countries, but also in the quality of services it provides. The Airbus A220 is expected to play a key role in achieving this goal and meeting those expectations.
The deal is also set to boost the Polish economy.
It is estimated that the company's future involvement in the Polish market could generate around $12 billion in economic impact. It is also expected to create approximately 13,000 new jobs over the next 15 years.
The deal comes on the heels of a memorandum signed in April between Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk and French President Emmanuel Macron to deepen cooperation across several areas, including defense and nuclear energy.
There's a clear economic and political strategy at play here. Polish-French relations, especially in the aviation sector, are now in a much better place.
The contract includes an option for 44 long-haul aircraft intended to serve LOT's future operations at Poland's planned mega airport CPK, scheduled to open in the mid-2030s.
The thought of 40 new commercial aircraft makes us think of higher quality air travel and more destinations to fly from Poland. But really, the contract signed by PLL LOT and Airbus could mean a lot more for Poland's infrastructure and economy. To tell us more about these new Airbuses, what these new Airbuses could bring to Poland, let's welcome Krzysztof Loga-Sowiński, the editor of Pasażer.com, a news site specializing in travel and air travel. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning.
So from a passenger perspective, will people really feel a difference between flying an A220 versus an Embraer or a 737 and subsequently rush to book flights?
Well, I wouldn't compare A220 to Boeing B737 because these are totally different commercial jets. Let's compare A220 to Embraer. Well, basically, for passenger, the difference is in the cabin. Airbus cabin is wider, and the aircraft is shorter, in matter of fact. But the difference is for the passengers, it won't be very big. The only difference between seating between Embraer and Airbus is that in Airbus, in a row you have 5 seats, and in Embraer you have 4. So, in matter of fact, one person in the Airbus aircraft won't be happy because he or she will get the middle seat.
And with options for up to 84 jets, do you think that LOT is actually risking overcapacity, or is this a bold bet on future demand, a return on the investment of these purchases, perhaps?
Well, I think the choice behind the choice is a belief that the market will grow. This is not only because of this choice, but also because we are building the central communication hub. So we believe, well, that the market will grow for some years in the future. But you also must remember that it won't be adding the fleet; it will be replacing Embraers by Airbuses. So, in matter of fact, LOT has now 45 Embraers. So, if the replacement will take place, then in matter of fact, the number of aircraft wouldn't change.
And obviously, we're looking at financing and risk with a total potential cost of over $7 billion. The question is, how is LOT actually financing this order? Are we looking at private capital? Are we looking at government support or leasing? Can you give us some details on that?
Well, it's difficult to say anything very precise about this because the information is not public. We know that there is a contract. I can imagine that it will be a kind of combination of operating and financial lease, and probably the contract is guaranteed by the state in a kind of arrangement. But I don't know the instrument they have chosen to do it.
And is this, in your opinion, the most important fleet investment in LOT's history, or perhaps it's simply a long overdue replacement for the aging Embraers that you referred to earlier?
Well, I think it's both. You know, it's of course a replacement, but at the same time, the scale of the operation is huge, and of course, LOT did a lot of introductions of new aircraft in its fleet, but it was never so huge. No, so in matter of fact, the scale is enormous for LOT.
And another question that comes to mind is, why has LOT now chosen Airbus and not perhaps just stuck with Embraer or just simply expand the Boeing fleet, which it's familiar with? What has actually tipped the scale?
Well, we are talking about regional jets, so we cannot add Boeing because Boeing is not offering such kind of product. But I think that this choice came as a surprise because it is very ambitious, I would say, and even courageous because, of course, taking Airbus will be more costly for LOT because, an easy example. For example, a pilot which has to change from Embraer old generation to Embraer E2, the new generation, well, the training is just 3 days or even less than 3 days. If we will train now a pilot from Embraer, an experienced pilot from Embraer, to go and fly an Airbus, we will need probably at least a month to train him. The same thing goes with the supply chain, the contractors, the suppliers. All this must be created. But in matter of fact, well, the Airbus has a bigger range, more capacity, and is definitely more advanced than Embraer.
And does introducing the A220 signal a strategic shift in LOT's identity from a regional long-range airline to a mid-whole European carrier? We've heard that LOT's CEO Michał Fio had suggested earlier this year that a new strategy was in the pipeline, taking into account for the development of the central communication port and the high-speed rail service. Is this one of those important strategic steps that we've been waiting for? And what else perhaps can we expect from the new strategy?
Well, in matter of fact, many airlines need to have new strategies after the pandemic, because the pandemic has changed the market. Now, business travel is less important. Many airlines are now focusing on leisure travel, and this is also what LOT is doing. Well, if you see the expansion of charter operation at LOT, it is not about, I think, 12% of its passengers are from charter operation. So it will change, and it is changing. But I don't think that this is a general change. It won't make LOT, for example, a low-cost carrier or a charter carrier. LOT will probably focus more on leisure traffic, but it will still stay as a medium carrier, but a traditional network carrier with long-haul routes, especially to the United States and Canada.
And does Poland currently have the technical and maintenance infrastructure needed to operate and service a full A220 fleet? Because that will also be an additional cost that we'll have to consider once those planes arrive.
Well, I don't think we have already all the thing fixed and ready to accommodate the new aircraft. But the first will come in 2027. So we have 2 years to prepare. And I'm sure that not only LOT, but also the maintenance and repair and overhaul business will be ready for the new aircraft. By the way, we have pretty close from Poland another airline which operates, I think now some 220. It's Air Baltic. So there are good examples, and I think we can well learn from the Latvians.
And what does this deal tell us about the Polish aviation industry as a whole? Will other carriers follow LOT's example?
Well, in Poland, what we have, we have two carriers, I would say, LOT and Enter. Well, there are also some smaller carriers, but the basic two are Enter and LOT. Well, Enter is a charter operator, and I don't think they will be interested in regional jets. They need bigger aircraft, and they are very happy with buying the 737.
Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk is very pleased with this aviation development. Let's bring up his post on X. What are the chances that Poland becomes a regional aviation hub, or perhaps a leader in the next decade? As we see here, he says the deal is signed. LOT Polish Airlines is buying 40 state-of-the-art Airbus A220 aircraft. It's the biggest investment to date by Poland's national carrier. We're turning LOT into a European air travel leader. Do you think that once the opening of the CPK mega airport is done, do you think that that will actually facilitate the purchase of the next 44 aircraft?
Well, for sure. I think without CPK, I don't see where LOT could locate the 84 A220. So without CPK, it won't be possible, probably. But a lot of depends on the economic situation, because for sure Poland can be a regional hub, aviation hub. I can imagine that LOT will grow and will become as big as SAS is or TAP there Portugal is. This is possible, but a lot depends on the economic situation. And unfortunately, airline business is a cycle business. So today we are on the highs. Today, Poland airports grow at a pace of two-digit numbers. So we are really developing very quickly, but it won't last forever. We had before the pandemic, we had an exceptional period of 10 years of growth, and this was really unexpected. A lot of airlines managers were amazed by the fact that they had 10 years of stable growth. And I am afraid that it may not happen again for many, many years. So pretty soon, in 2 years' time or in 3 years' time, we will have a crisis.
But
and
you,
this will make difficult.
You
Yes.
say that the purchase. You suggested the purchase of the additional 44 Airbuses is dependent, very closely connected to the opening and obviously the smooth running of the central communication port and the airport. So obviously that has to happen. But you also suggest that it's dependent on the growing economy. So what factors is it dependent on for the aviation industry to keep going?
Well, historically, aviation industry was very linked with GDP growth. And I don't think that this changed after the pandemic. So it is still very important to have a GDP growth. If you have a GDP growth, your traffic also is growing. So this is very, very important. Of course, having a hub, we can also take traffic which is not originating from Poland. So this is an additional plus for the aviation in Poland.
But so far, all the forecasts in regards to GDP growth for Poland are very positive. I mean, the lowest forecast we've had is 3.2, but overall we're looking at 3.5. Some economists are becoming even more positive and saying that 4% might be achieved this year. So everything is looking very positive, but you sound a little bit skeptical, and I'd be very interested to hear your insight in regards to that.
Because aviation business is very fragile. It's very vulnerable to crises. Well, we can have a conflict which is far from Poland, and then we will have a crisis. Well, because the aviation industry is pretty global. It's really a global industry. So some events in United States may have impacts on Poland and on Polish aviation. So this is why I'm not skeptical. I'm cautious.
I understand. Okay. So just one last question. We have LOT facing a demanding logistical challenge because of the in the space of 2027 to 2031, the national carrier will have to withdraw 45 Embraers and replace them with Airbus A220s. And LOT also aims to have a fleet of 110 in 2028. Do you think that this logistical endeavour will be achieved, and how smoothly do you think that will go? Just very briefly as we wrap up.
Well, I believe LOT is competent. The staff at LOT, Polish Airlines, is competent, very competent, and they have experience to do it. And it will, I believe, it will happen, and it will happen smoothly.
Okay, Krzysztof Loga-Sowiński, the editor of Pasażer.com, a news site specializing in travel and aviation. Thank you very much for your insight on this exciting development. And that concludes The Bottom Line for today. I was your host, Marie Kato. We bring you the best of regional business Monday to Friday at 5:10 CET on TVP World. And in the meantime, for the latest in regional business, follow us on X and on tvpworld.com. And for more news and analysis, stay with us on TVP World. Goodbye.